On December 24, 1979, the Soviet Union launched its military invasion of Afghanistan. Officially, it was presented as a friendly mission of assistance, but the true motives ran far deeper. Afghanistan, a landlocked country of mountains and deserts, has long been known as the gateway between East and West. Yet beneath its rugged terrain lies something far more valuable, almost the entire periodic table of elements. Rich in copper, uranium, cobalt, lithium, gold, oil, and natural gas, Afghanistan is one of the most resource-dense regions on Earth. To the Soviet leadership, it wasn't just about political control. It was about securing the raw materials that could shape the future of the empire itself. They believed that if they could dominate Afghanistan, they would control the lifeline between the Middle East, India, and Europe, a path of power, energy, and influence. But instead, this dream turned into a bloody, senseless war against an unseen enemy. The mountain spirits, the resistance, and ancient legends that existed long before any empire. But among all the battles fought during the Soviet-Afghan War, there is one story that never made it into the official archives. A story whispered only among veterans, spoken carefully and only after a few drinks. They say there was a place in the Afghan mountains that no Soviet unit could ever capture. A small, isolated village hidden between cliffs and canyons. One that seemed to appear and disappear like a mirage. It wasn't marked on any map. No satellite photo ever confirmed it, and yet entire units were sent there and never returned the same. Some called it a cursed valley. Others believed it was protected by something far older than war itself. And so begins our story, not about victory or defeat, but about a mystery buried deep within the Afghan mountains. The rescue teams sent to find the missing squad spent days wandering through narrow mountain passes, following the presumed route marked on old military maps. Radio contact was unstable, but by their calculations, they were already close to the location where the first unit disappeared. And yet, there were no signs, no footprints, no camp remains, no bullet casings, no evidence of battle. Only silence. A strange, heavy kind of silence, the kind soldiers later described as dead quiet. When they finally reached the village, everything seemed untouched. Several clay houses, a few barns, a dry well. Everything was still in place, but there was no one there. The doors were open, bowls with dried food still on the tables, clothes scattered on the floors, as if life itself had been interrupted. Mid-moment, the team decided to stay overnight. By morning, out of 10 men, only 2 came back. They were barely standing, uniforms burnt in places, their skin marked with what looked like burns or radiation sores. One kept repeating the same phrase over and over. They were walking, they were standing, they were watching. The other said nothing. He just stared at the ground, trembling, as if afraid to look anywhere else. Doctors diagnosed them with extreme psychological shock. The command concluded it was drug intoxication, opiate overdose common in Afghanistan at the time. The report was closed. Both men were transferred to a military hospital in Tashkent for recovery. But a few weeks later, both vanished. One disappeared from the hospital itself, the other on his way home. No trace, no record, no explanation, as if the story had erased itself once again. After the disappearance of the first squad and the failed rescue mission, Soviet command ordered an aerial reconnaissance of the area. Major Anisimov, an intelligence officer, was assigned to lead the operation. Together with 2 pilots, he conducted several low-altitude flights over the mountain sector, where the lost village was last reported. His report still exists. According to the records, the flight took place early in the morning. Visibility was perfect. They made several passes over the valley. During the first run, everything looked normal. Mountains, a few clay huts, winding dirt roads, and grazing animals. But during the second pass, just minutes later, everything had changed. There were no huts, no paths, no traces of life. Only a bare plateau, as if the entire settlement had been ripped from the earth. The aircraft's radar registered an unusual anomaly. For a brief moment, the ground reflected the radar signal, then completely absorbed it. Major Anisimov reported that all navigation and radio systems went offline for several seconds. When communication returned, the pilots described a terrifying silence. Even the sound of the helicopter rotors had vanished. Back at the base, Anisimov requested to review the thermographic footage. On the tape, clear heat signatures could be seen, human-shaped, at least 10 of them, standing exactly where the village was supposed to be. None of them moved. A few days later, Anisimov's report was classified. Shortly after, he was reassigned to another division and never spoke of the mission again. Colleagues later claimed he suffered from insomnia for years and that he had become deeply religious, a strange turn for a man who had once been a devoted party officer. In 1993, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, a classified document surfaced, leaked by a former Soviet officer, Colonel Pavlenko. It contained excerpts from several declassified wartime files, including one marked top secret and connected to an unexplained incident in Afghanistan. Among the materials was a transcript of an interview with a local Afghan elder, a man from a remote mountain village, who claimed that the Russians weren't the first to disappear there. According to him, that valley had been avoided for generations. No one went near it, not shepherds, not travelers. He spoke of strange lights floating above the cliffs at night and how, by morning, everything would return to silence, as if the place existed only between dusk and dawn. His final words written in the report read, "That valley does not belong to this world." Colonel Pavlenko, according to later sources, attempted to pass these files to a journalist in Moscow. But a few weeks later, he was found dead after falling from the balcony of his apartment in St. Petersburg. The official report listed it as an accident. He had supposedly gone out for a smoke and slipped, but his family insisted Pavlenko never smoked. After his death, the original file disappeared. Only fragments remain online. Blurred photographs, torn pages, and one final line, written in red ink, Operation Village 17, case closed. Today, no official records mention the operation known as Village 17. There are no maps, no coordinates, no trace of any Soviet presence in that sector of the Afghan mountains. The few surviving veterans who once served in that region refuse to talk about it. Some say they don't remember. Others claim there was nothing there to remember. In 2015, a group of amateur explorers tried to retrace the location. Using old satellite data, they found a plateau that matched the descriptions, but the terrain was unstable, covered in collapsed tunnels and old mine shafts. One of the researchers wrote in his diary, "It's strange here, as if the air itself remembers something we can't see." That was his last entry. He never published the footage. And so the story remains somewhere between military report and myth, buried beneath dust, silence, and the weight of things we were never meant to find.